Thanks everybody for being here. Super excited about our season and season ahead and our team this year. These young women put in a lot of work in the off season. They make a commitment to themselves and their teammates. Spring was very productive. Got a chance to play a bunch of different opponents in our spring season and kind of see what's going to be like with people moving around positions a little bit, playing without a couple young women from last year's roster, including a captain, Elena Shimon, who did a really great job for us as a leader and played some great right back defense and set a second side. So productive that way. Got a chance to play against Marquette. Played really well in that match at the Sports Pavilion, so that was a lot of fun for our women, I think, to get out there on a big floor and play in that environment. And rolling into this preseason, I think the expectations are high for our program. We've been very fortunate to have some fantastic postseason runs, some strong regular season performances, and I think the standard is that we're going to be competitive at the end of the season. And this year, I think one of the goals, and we haven't really talked as a team, hey, these are our exact goals for the year, but I think one of the goals is going to be to compete for certainly a conference championship. And if you can win a conference championship in this league, you can compete for a national championship. So I think that'll be the goal. But season consistency and showing up every match. We had a couple matches last year in the middle of the season that maybe tripped us up a little bit, that maybe we didn't play our best in some of those matches. But good learning opportunities because I think we rebounded very well from them, and we're just excited to get rolling. Yeah, I think their consistency and their overall skill level and athleticism are key. They're not at that consistent level of every single day. They're all playing at a good level, but overall the group, I think, does a great job. We've got one at every position in that class. It's been fun to see them compete. Brea LaPlante obviously running a second side. We have two setters in our gym that are training regularly, so Emma's on one side, Brea's on the other side has really helped as far as being competitive, and her team wins a fair share in practice, so it's fun to see that competitiveness and back and forth. And Carly on the outside's adding depth. We lost a couple outside hitters from last year. Middle, Kinsey had some great scrimmages and practices that she had. Lauren Heyman had some nice depth in the back row, and then we've certainly got Molly Hobson on the right that does a great job as well, so it's fun. She's been a really great and impactful blocker for us as a right front. Ella loves playing volleyball. She is an athlete that loves to compete, puts a high priority on being an athlete, brings a lot of energy to the floor. I hope our fans are going to be able to see some of that this year and see the excitement that she brings. Hits the ball pretty hard, blocks well, very physical at the net. She was, I think, a 1 or 2 time All-Summit League performer, so she's played some pretty good volleyball at a high level, at the Division I level. So we're excited to see that. But, we really like our middles from last year. Sam did a great job. She was first team All-Conference. Hannah Bruskowitz made the NSICL tournament team. Emily Plainard, I think, had 1 or 2 days last spring when she had 400 and 500 in the spring season. So it's like we got a lot of depth and a good problem of trying to get a lot of young women some balls to hit and some blocking opportunities in the front row.
I think our off season has been amazing. We've put a lot of work in last spring and this summer, showing up every single morning at 6 a.m., getting in here and lifting. And I think some of the new players that we have, like our blocking is going to be really good this year and makes it a lot easier to play defense behind them. And everyone's just put in a lot of work. It's been really fun. I think, like Chad said, we haven't talked about it much. We've just continued to kind of do what we're doing on our side of the court. We're not too worried about what other teams are doing. Obviously we're trying to get ready for them, but we're mostly focused on our side and what we can get better at. I think we just try not to let the moment get too big. We know we're going to play in some big moments, but that's what we train for. We try to put pressure on ourselves in practice. We play in big games every single day in the NSIC, so just having those to help us out.
Jed and I do a lot of talking about that. Obviously there's individual goals you want to try to hit, but they're great, but like we talk about a lot on our team, you can't hit goals like these without a great team behind you doing it as well. So without them, you couldn't really do any of that, and just kind of keeping the team focused first and then you second. Show up to every game and just put my best foot on the floor to help the team succeed, and, if that happens sooner, if that happens later, it's cool as long as we're winning games. Yeah, I think this team is, like Keely said, quite special. I know last year we joked with Chad a lot about how our blocking was maybe not the best last year. Seeing new girls step in and us get a lot more slowdowns, a lot more stuff blocks, terminal blocks. Like Keely said, it makes it a lot easier to dig around it and, dig up more balls. So I think just overall, I would say just the adversity and the skill of each person that could be on the floor is definitely what sets this team apart. You got to read each person individually. Maybe there's a teammate in your position who doesn't really like to be coached by someone else in their position, or there's someone who comes up to you. So I definitely make sure I'm available to those who maybe ask questions. Obviously, I took Lindsay Rachel, for example. She was older than me. I knew she was super successful. So going up to her and asking her questions if I was struggling just using her as kind of a resource, maybe not so much the coaching staff, but using someone who I knew had been doing it for a lot longer than I had, and just making sure to stay available for those who may have questions for me.